Yo.
What up? What up?
What up, though? What's poppin', man?
A lot of stuff this week, an emotional week.
I know, man. It's been think about you guys all week, man. I know it's been a little rough one, man. Glad you guys got some semi-closure this week, man.
Some closure, absolutely, man. Welcome, everybody. Episode 71, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
He is Juan, and I'm Sean. And every week we get together, have a couple of drinks, talk about things going on in the world. Try to focus on things making an impact, whether they be good, bad, or otherwise. What are we drinking today?
Yo, man. Today we had to brush off the top to the top shelf, and we got a little Blue Label, man. If anybody's a Scotch drinker here, you know exactly what the Blue Label is. Johnny Walker Blue Label. For those who haven't indulged on some Blue Label, feel like splurging one day, definitely get a little bottle. You don't mix this.
There's no ice.
I don't even like putting
There's
ice in it, but we're drinking some Blue Label neat. It's smooth. Sean had a experience with Johnny Walker in the past, so he probably wasn't looking forward to this as much as I was.
I tell you what, man. When I saw first of all, I just saw you had a box, and I'm like, any liquor that's in a box, I'm probably not buying. But so he opens his box, fancy box, right? The Blue Label comes out, and right away I have the flashback, bro. 16 years old. One of my friends' neighbors, I won't disclose any names, had like a wedding, and they were like Middle Eastern or perhaps Indian, right?
Okay.
So for whatever reason, I was told that typically for these weddings, they buy like a crap load of liquor and beer, and after the couple kind of takes off on their honeymoon or whatever, the family stays back and consumes or over consumes alcohol. So they invited us 16-year-olds over the house.
Indian weddings are the best. I want to go to one.
And we drank some beer and mixed that with some Black Label, and that is not a good mixture. And I learned my lesson and have not drank it since. And I will tell you, on that first sip today, it's exactly as I remember.
Yeah. Well, Johnny Walker, no matter which one you get, has that unmistakable like peaty scent and that initial like I can't think of the name of that tone, but it is like a peaty, very smoky hit that it gives you. Every one of them has that very distinct. It's kind of like Jack Daniels has this very distinct kind of smokiness to it, no matter which level of Jack Daniels you get. Johnny Walker's the same thing. There's a very distinct flavor that they have, and then obviously like the flavors after the fact change and the smoothness of it and all that stuff. But yeah, there's a very distinct Johnny Walker. So no matter what Johnny Walker fucked you up, all of them are going to give you the flashback. Because it's like a signature hint of it, if you were like,
right.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's smooth. And the bottle looks like extra thick.
It is, man. I can't figure out what they do. It is a 750, but they always do it in this like extra thick. It looked like one of them glasses you're going to find a messaging in the ocean at the beach. You know what I'm saying? I can never figure out.
The one they put the model boats in?
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. It's like an extra day. They do that, and they don't do any of their other ones that way, because there's obviously they have the red, the black, the gold. There's a one that's like in between this one and like a black. That's it's not gold. It's not. I don't know. Anyway, but that one doesn't have that distinct bottle either. So there's something about this one that use this really thick, interesting glass. But yeah, I love this shit, man. This is one of those like, you know, you just gotta enjoy it sporadically.
Yeah. Put that shit. That's one you put away.
Oh, bro.
When you got company coming over.
This is shit. When I have parties and I see people who got like Cokes and stuff and they start grabbing the bottle of this, I'm like, I will beat you with it. I'm like, you better go grab the Black Label if you about to put some of that. That shit is disrespectful. I'm like, you can have it, just don't mix.
Not me, man. I put it right back in the box and be like, I haven't opened that shit yet. We ain't using that today.
Oh man, but that shit's delicious, man.
Yeah. All right, man. What's the carbon footprint of the week?
Carbon footprint, man. It's a feel good story, man. I thought that this was so cool, and it goes to the shit we always talk about of like the gestures that you never know lead to something.
Yep.
There's this girl. Her name is Deshauna Priest, and when she was a child, she wrote a letter as part of a school project to a World War II vet.
Okay.
And the letter was like super simple. I thought I had a copy of it here. I don't. But it's like one of these like, thank you for fighting for our freedoms. Really short. As you can imagine, it's like written in crayon. Something like without you, we wouldn't be able to live how we live. Something like super simple, straight to the point. It was written by like an 8-year-old girl.
Okay.
And she wrote it to a guy named Frank Grassberger, who's now 95 years old.
Oh wow.
Frank received this letter over 12 years ago. So he gets this letter 12 years ago. So he's his early 80s, mid 80s.
Hold on. So she knew she was writing to a World War II vet.
Yes.
Got it. I thought it was like some real old letter.
No,
that
she
just
knew
like
as part of the
came
school
up.
project, right?
Got it.
So
Okay.
he wants to write a letter. I guess he says he read the letter, and obviously, like anybody who's fought in a war, right? You're conflicted, right? They're saying if you've had frontline experience in war and all that, there's a lot of conflicting things, and we've all known people who have their demons, so to speak, I guess, from fighting in wars like that, right? And I'm certainly World War II. So he, I guess, was always kind of battling with what his service meant and what that war meant, and obviously the things that he saw and he had to live with and whatever, right? So I guess this letter touched him so much that he was like, wow, like if this one person, this kid, if it meant this much to them, then like I guess it sort of validated it for him. Like
Okay.
he felt good. So he writes back, and I guess he reaches out to the school, and obviously for security reasons, they're like, we can't give you the girl's name or the where she lives or anything. And he's like, but I really want to write a letter. So he writes it to the school, and he goes, can you just give it to her? So, but he never knows if she gets a letter. So he writes her a letter back, and it's kind of like, hey, war's terrible. But I'm glad that if I had a chance to do that so that you can live the life you live today, then it was well worth it to me.
Oh, that's cool.
Kind of thing. So he writes a cool letter to her. So anyways, but for the next 12 years, man, this guy walks around with this letter in his pocket all the time, or has it in his wallet.
So he never sent it.
No, he sends it to her, but he keeps her letter in his
her letter.
pocket.
Got it.
Yeah. And so fast forward now, dude. So he's never been able to find the girl. And is telling the story to a caregiver at the nursing home that him and his wife now live in.
Okay.
Obviously the magic of the internet, man. An attendant at the nursing home, man. She asks what town it was in the school, and she starts to search the girl's name because he knew what the girl's name was from the letter. And she comes across a profile that fits, like saying like the year would make sense, or like the age and all that stuff makes sense. Anyway, tracks down this girl, and tells her the story, and the girl's like, yeah, that's me. Like I have his letter.
Oh, shit.
And invites her to come to the nursing home. So she sets up this whole surprise visit. Dude, and the visit is so cool. The guy and his wife are like, dude, you're the daughter like that we never had. Like we looked at you always like an I think they have sons and stuff, but they were like, we never met you. And we know it sounds crazy, but we always looked at you as a daughter. And he even said like, this kind of completes, like this was the thing in my life that was missing, was getting closure to this like moment.
Oh wow.
But dude, the awesome part is the girl is now an active member of the military. Doing her duty. She had a daughter as well that she brought with her. That she got to meet. They got to talk. She had explained to him how much, I guess, the experience of doing that meant to her. Obviously enough to where she went on to join the military. He went on obviously to tell her about how like he literally had the letter in his pocket that day, and is like, I haven't taken it out of my pocket in 12 years or whatever.
That's
and
crazy,
it's just,
man.
dude. I'm like, wow, man. And you see the whole interaction, and now they. I guess they visit frequently,
Yep.
and then the guy, they're asking him like, oh, does this bring you a peace? He's like, I'm complete, I'm good, I've had a good life, man. And he goes like, this was the thing that if I said, hey, do you have any regrets or something you want to check? He's like, this was the thing I wanted to check off, man. I wanted to meet this girl who I always felt this connection to, and yeah, man.
And like you said, man, just to have that both of them carry the letters around with them, right? So like,
so crazy.
you always just wonder, like, is there that energy that kind of draws you together at some point?
And she had the letter with her too, which is cool because she had the proof. Because he goes,
Right.
I don't even know if she got it, and I can never confirm. And she had the letter, like, yeah, like I got it. And then he like pulls out his and he didn't even know she was visiting that day. So it's funny when she walks up, he kind of like immediately sort of puts two and two together, but goes no. And she's like, yeah. And he goes like, no. And the dude gets super emotional, man. And you're watching, I'm like, it's like me watching Sports Center on Sunday morning. I'm like, God damn it, man. Such a cool story, man. I just thought it's so many small gestures, right? The girl seemingly just writing some school project, right?
Yep.
Him seemingly just writing back, and it touched him in a way that he felt compelled enough to write back. The lady at the nursing home who had to hear the story, who had to go out of her way to go do a quick Instagram search because she found the girl on Instagram,
Right.
To reach out to the girl to not be like, yo, you're a fucking psychopath, to like just all the things that had to happen. We've talked a lot about this lately, like for that moment to happen and to give this guy and his wife this like closure and this peace, and it's just this I think of someone who fought in a war, in any war, but it's something that I don't even know what the word is, but just something so personally affecting and something you carry forever. But to get that kind of, I think, just validation for your reasoning, maybe, or your reason for it, I think it was a good moment that I saw that. I'm like, wow, man, that had to make him feel. Any regrets he had that extra validation there, man.
That's awesome, man. But dude, I'm over here thinking my sick head. What if she was an Instagram thought?
Yo, imagine, bro. Oh my god, you right, dude. And she'd have been like, yo, and she'd be like, what are you doing now? Actually, if you want to catch my OnlyFans, I'll let you. You can subscribe for just $3 a month. Normally it's $13.
I'll answer all letters you want.
And dick ratings are an extra $5. She's like, actually, your note compelled me to start a little messenger business of my own. It would have been even better if she would have still joined the military and been stopped. Oh my God, her handle would have been something wild, bro. Military hoe 445, something like that.
No, but that's
so cool, man.
It is, man. It's an awesome story, and to your point about like war vets, man. Like my father was in the Korean War. I know I told you this before, and I've never seen anything like. He's never talked anything negative about the Korean War, and he's always had like this, almost like this positive outlook, not necessarily on the conflict itself, but of the guys that he met and served with, and just the experience as a whole.
Wow, it
was actually like a pleasant experience, even though that he had sort of some bad times. Dude, he used to. So we had a service this past weekend, as you know, and I had to do his eulogy. And so when I wrote it, man, it took me probably 2 weeks to actually complete it, right? But I was very happy with the finished product. But one of the stories that he told me when I was a kid about Korea, he used to have this scar on his side. And he would, and I used to, as a kid, going like, oh man, like what happened there? Because it's kind of a bulge and then this scar. And then he go, oh man, I was in Korea. He goes, guy came, stuck me with a bayonet. and in the side, and he goes,
it's not funny, but
no, right? So then I'm there as a kid, like, oh shit, right? And he goes, I grabbed the gun, like the bayonet, and held it inside of me, and grabbed my 45, and I shot him, right? And I'm thinking, and I was like, man, wild, yeah. This is crazy, man. Like, and I used to make him tell me that story over and over, bro. Come to find out, that shit was from 2 kidney surgeries. Yo, I swear, and he told that story to. It's funny because as I read it, there was a lot of people in the service that laughed, but you could tell it was laughs like oh yeah, he told me that story too. Dude, so cool. I believed that shit until I was like in my early 20s.
You started doing the math like I seen that in a movie once. Dude, nothing about the stories you've told me about him and all that shocks me, that the outlook that he had on his time in the service and all that stuff. Yep. And like they would do something like that. Like nothing about that shocks me, considering who we're talking about. Like I'm like, yep, that sounds like the dude. You know what I mean? And it's so wild because again, like it's not like I knew him like that, but when you hear enough about someone where you're just like, you can almost it feels like you know them, like their personality comes off in the stories. I'm just like, yep, nothing about that shocks me, man. About
So during the service, man, so we did he was cremated, right? And so there was no like open casket, no body viewing, anything like that. Dude, this week I read this story on these North Carolina sisters that was having their mom passed away, and they had an open casket. It was the wrong person
inside the casket.
In the casket.
So what?
With the mother's dress on.
Oh, so she wearing her clothes, but they stuck the wrong body.
They put the wrong body. And then they was like, when they told the the funeral home, like, yo, like that's not my mom, and they were like, yeah, yes it is.
They're like, she looks a little different after the embalming and the makeup,
bro. Yeah, they said the sisters were like, yo, this person was swimming in my mother's outfit because mother was way bigger.
Oh, so clearly didn't fit it. And they'd be like,
She
yeah.
lost weight, and it's the embalming. It makes them look skinny.
Like, my mom was an old Latina woman. We're white. I don't know if you knew.
And then, yo,
That's fucking crazy.
as I'm reading that, bro, I'm going, obviously the body's one thing, right? You can recognize it. Dude, when you cremate somebody, how you know you're getting their ashes?
Oh, but I'm always suspect about that.
Right.
Oh, I just assume I'm not. Like, if I ever had to make... Bro, if I ever had to do that for someone... I just assume I'm not getting it, bro. Or I think I'm getting, to quote one of our earlier episodes, I feel like I'm getting a smorgasbord of multiple people because they're trying to save money and do it all at once. I just stuck 7 bodies in there and then just went, yo, man, just give everybody 7 pounds of ashes or whatever the fuck it is. Like, I'm like,
dude. I mean, now I believe there's a way, right, to be sure that you get those ashes.
Don't you have to witness it? I thought they asked for a witness there. Like, you could be there when they do it. I thought that's what it was.
No one has asked us.
I thought that they had a witness because I feel like I remember people telling me, like, dude, you got to be there when they, like, slide them into the oven kind of thing so that you could be, like, if you wanted to verify kind of thing. Like,
right.
And I remember just thinking, like, fuck, whose job is that? Like, who's volunteering for that one, man?
I kind of feel like it's more symbolic than anything else, but the fact that people keep them in their house, like they'll keep the ashes,
fucking nuts to me,
like
bro.
It's them.
Yeah.
And so like my mom is one of those people, and she asked me like, "Yo, do you want the ashes?" And I told her no, like I don't need them. If I find something like that, if I find a piece that really speaks to me about him,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
then I could see getting a piece. I go, but no, I don't need the ashes. So what I convinced her to do, she's gonna keep some, but what I convinced her to do is, we're going skydiving, and we're gonna freaking dump them out.
Oh,
18,000 feet
He's
up.
coming with you. He's coming with you.
I'm like, let's go.
That's awesome, bro. Oh, that's so sick, man.
So we have from now until January to see if mom chickens out.
Ooh, so that's when you're going?
Yeah,
Jan?
be like the end of January or early February.
No, so your mom agreed to do it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's has she ever wanted to do it, or is just like newfound kind of like fuck it?
I
Let's
think
try
she's just like, yeah, fuck it. I mean, she didn't mention that she's been like wanting to do this or anything.
It's just not fucking. Remember when we went? There was an old ass lady there that was. Like,
It was her 60th, I want to say. We say old ass lady, but
no. There was a lady that worked there. Remember that was like, I've done it multiple times, honey.
Oh.
Remember she was like,
yeah, that's right.
She was the one that when she said like they had a perfect record or something like that, and I was like, nah, lady, that's not what I want to hear. I want to know somebody fell last
week.
Because then I know you're on your A game. No shit, that'd be dope, man. That's a cool ass way to do it, man.
I'm assuming they'll let us, man. I don't know if they will
Fuck
or
it,
not.
bro. What they gonna? You keep it in your pocket.
Put it in my pocket.
Yeah, and in midway, I mean, what they gonna do? You like, I don't even know what you carry, a Ziploc bag or some shit, and just.
Nah, because you want something that you just let it go.
Yeah.
Right.
So you would just.
I don't want to unzip in the air.
Yeah, you're right. So you would just put it in like a bag that just like kind of bunched up.
What if I let it go and the ashes fly back in the old boy's face?
I know exactly where you
Dude.
Just get it on video.
They're gonna be like, nah, bro. You ain't taking that shit up there. You want to land?
Like, your dad is in my mouth, bro. I got a whole dad. My mouth. I already told you, man. I want anybody who gives a shit about me, I want y'all to take my ashes, roll me up in a joint or something, do some lines.
Yo, the other thing you just mentioned about being able to like witness them sliding the person in.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, in order for me to witness, I'd have to see it. I have to see the body now and go like, yeah, that's the dude. Like, I don't think I want to see that.
Me neither, bro. I wouldn't, dude. I have a thing about.
I'm good with the smorgasbord.
Yeah, the smorgasbord. I told you, bro. You just accept it. Like me, I go, they dead, right? All right, cool. I don't think it. And maybe because I'm so indifferent to like what happens to me that I'm kind of like, eh. But I don't want to, bro. I have this thing about funerals where I do not want my last memory of someone to be in that state.
Right.
Right. Like I'd rather have that memory of the whatever our last interaction was, which is hopefully positive. I'd rather remember that. So the whole funeral thing always creeps me out anyway. But yeah, I would never win it. They'd be like, "When is?" I'm like, "Nah, bro, I'm good. I trust you. I'll take the smorgasbord. Like, I'm just assuming you guys are fucking me anyways." Like, I'll be like, "Can I get 5% of my loved one?"
Can you guarantee 5%?
Bro, because I mean, yeah, you gotta assume shady shit happens.
I would imagine so.
Yeah,
I mean, but then again, like, hey, we're giving
Yo,
the
do
benefit
you
of the
DNA
doubt, right?
test? Can you DNA test ashes?
Ashes? I don't know.
I feel like we should know this, man.
Send it to 23andMe.
Yeah, bro. And then that shit comes back and it's like Australian and fucking
Shit got imported. It's the church ashes for Ash Wednesday from Amazon Basics.
not for nothing, bro. Can you get an urn on Amazon?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we bought them, bro.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And is Amazon Basics branded? Tell me it's Amazon
No,
Basics.
no,
Oh, that would be,
no, it's not.
oh my god. that
Not
would be
yet.
So good, bro. Dude, what about the jewelry shit, man? I've seen that they could. It's like high pressure. They could turn you into a diamond. The ashes.
Oh, that's some real high pressure, bro.
I feel like again, you walking around with a diamond made out of somebody you used to know. Like,
I mean, that's dope, but I don't know. Like, it's.
there's the whole tree thing too, right? Where they could use you somehow and plant a tree, and I feel like that's
Well, I mean,
cool.
shit, you could plant a tree, throw some water in it, and you hope that it sucks it in, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, well, man.
Listen, imagine if you're like your quote unquote like spirit or soul goes into the tree. How pissed off are you?
I'd be mad as fuck, bro.
You're like, I was a human.
Yeah, every time a dog takes a leak on me, bro, I'm looking down like fucking Grandmother Willow from Pocahontas. You fucking dog.
Oh, every time they clip your limbs or some shit, man.
I used to have 2 legs. Son of a bitch, peeing on me. Now I'm getting pissed on. I lose half my hair every year.
Gotta wait for this shit to grow back. I'm cold, motherfucker.
No, somebody gonna turn me into paper one day, probably. I'm gonna be livid, dude. Oh my, dude,
They clearing land again.
That's yeah. I
was lucky last time.
It took Bobby. I don't like my chances this time. Bro, you feel that like
Those fuckers got real close last time.
can y'all give me one of them little hipsters and chain them to me again? Bro, dude, this is sound nuts, but I believe it's easier for me to believe in the reincarnation as different things than it is in like the religious, I guess, like
Right.
ideologies of reincarnation or whatever, or heaven and hell.
Yeah.
And I always think about
Listen,
that shit.
heaven
I'm like,
and hell is already full.
yep. Be like,
It's filled
shit
up.
is at capacity. There are fire marshal rules.
No, you cannot come in the club. The club is full.
So like, I go, what if you ever find yourself strangely connected to like certain things or a period in time or whatever, where I go, fuck man, what if that's because that's like subconsciously like the thing I was part of, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, what if that was like the thing and that's why you're so connected to it? But oh man, that shit'll be strange, bro. That's still alcohol talking now.
Yo, speaking of us being other things, bro. Did you see this shit on Facebook? Facebook AI is fucking up.
Did man?
No, not this Facebook AI, not the
Oh, okay, yes.
not
yes,
the
yes, yes.
whistleblower. thing.
Okay, I didn't see the story. I did see you were talking about it before.
So check this out. There was a video that showed like this encounter. It was like one white guy who was kind of having like a Karen moment with like a group of black guys that was like having a get together, a party or something.
We call them Chads.
So Chaz, I had no idea.
I don't know.
So after the video, the Facebook AI was like, "Do you want to see more videos about primates?" So immediately, right? It's like that's fucked up, right? Like there's something wrong with the AI. But then I started thinking about it. I'm like, is it? Yo, we not for nothing. And I'm not being funny. It's like
I like how you got to preface that so I don't laugh. Like, don't get us canceled.
no, but like Right, we share 98.8% of our DNA with chimps.
It's just like an unfortunate kind of.
It's unfortunate, right?
Yeah.
Because of racial slurs of the past and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But is the AI wrong? And obviously it's wrong.
Well, yeah, in the sense that it didn't detect the human and.
Right,
yeah, because its job is detect the human. I don't know if its job is to detect.
But dude,
race.
not for nothing. Have you ever gone through like Google Photos where it goes like, hey, and you know where you can kind of group by your face?
Oh man,
you ever do it?
I know where you're going.
So you can group them, and then occasionally some random other picture comes up, and you're like, yeah, that's not me, or that's not this person that I'm looking for, and it's like it just kind of goes to show you, man, like there's a lot of similarities between us and
well, you just go, wait, how the fuck did that one get in there? And then you're like, oh shit, it looks close enough to me because of blah blah blah. Yeah,
right.
I
So again, like I said, and when I first read the story, I'm like, fuck, man, like people can't catch a break.
Here's my pushback: is a company like Google has been doing this for a long time. That has to have come up in testing in the past. That has to have come up.
This was Facebook.
I mean, sorry, Facebook. That has to have.
But
come
it happened.
Up, right?
It happened to Google too. I think I have the note here. In 2015, they had a similar type video with black males, and it classified them as gorillas.
Wow, man.
So it's like, you know, the AI is clearly going, you know, human features and dark.
Yeah. That's weird, man. Yikes! It just shows that because this is a computer thing that's programmed by a human, but I guess it's using a collection of data.
Right.
Dude, I didn't know this, and this is sort of like connected to this some way. My brother-in-law was telling me this once that you ever go to a site and they go like click all the traffic lights.
Yes.
To confirm. I didn't know that's their way of you helping them perfect algorithms. So you're telling them here's what traffic lights look like. And the thing is basically like, it's kind of testing its own set, but that's how it's getting a data set of what a traffic light is.
Oh, wow.
And then I didn't know, and I'm like, oh, so they're basically using these opportunities that seem like security to collect data, and using you as almost a survey monkey to like, no pun intended based on what we were just talking about, but like you know you do like it just sounds
nice choice of words.
Yeah, I know, but like you ever done the survey monkeys where it's like, oh, you take it, but they're basically making you want to do one of those without you knowing. I'm like, fuck. So,
that's
so
cool.
I wonder if something like this you use it similar. And
and you go like, I mean, it's AI, right? So it's learning. So if it just kind of like if we would be visited by an alien life form, right? Do they go like, oh yeah, that thing and that thing might be the same.
Well, even if you look at early humans, right?
Right.
We look like primates. I mean, it's just an unfortunate this day and age, man. That fuck, man. I just
go like, should we
isn't careful enough, like to go make sure it doesn't do this shit. You know what I mean? Like,
oh right.
Yeah,
right.
like I feel like I think in this climate, they, because normally I'm of to your point, like, listen, man, some shit's just we're gonna get wrong. I feel like that's one of those things though. It has to have come up. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the first black person that's scanned. It can't be the first. Like even you could have like certain Indians that have features where they might be like really hairy and stuff. Like I could see it even doing that. Then going like, oh, this must be a primate. Like some kind. Like I find it hard to believe that Facebook hadn't run into this before and went, fuck, man, we got to find something that distinguishes it because we don't need this shit to come up for the same reason. So we don't end up talking about it on podcast later.
Yeah, but staying with Facebook, you seen the whistleblower?
Rough week for those guys, man.
Yeah, that whistleblower. So first of all, are you allowed to steal documents if it's for a good reason?
Well, she's going to get sued.
Right?
I think unless it brings charges to Facebook because then she gets protected by the whistleblower thing.
That's what I'm saying. So there is a whistleblower thing.
Yes, okay. Yes. If she brings something forward and they were committing crimes that's going to be a tricky one, man, because you figure Facebook.
But it didn't sound like criminal activity. Irresponsible activity.
Irresponsible, I guess you could argue, and unethical, you could argue. But
is it their job, bro? Is it their job to not make us like, or to not let us talk shit?
I'm glad you brought that up, man, because we were having a conversation with my wife, and she reminded me of some shit I always say. It's like, at what point is it your responsibility?
Right.
And then, like, do you say like we was talking about for those that don't know, I guess a quick catch up, like this whistleblower comes out and essentially she brings to light that Facebook has data and research that essentially proves that they are profiting off, I guess, negative attention, off the chaos, and they're deliberately targeting things that they know will piss you off, for lack of a better term,
because it's clickbait.
Because of clickbait, and they make more money if you click stuff. So they know if you are anti, say, a political party, they purposely push that other stuff because they know that the data shows them that you are more likely to engage and click and scroll if you are upset,
and you stay longer,
and you stay longer.
Yep.
And I even to the one that kind of sort of hit home, and I think it's hard not to have the initial kind of emotional response, was they have data proving that basically teenage girls and right into teenage years, that they know that it causes depression. They know that it causes you have a body dysmorphia, that it basically amplifies that. They know, and they willingly, they disclose that they know this, and they use it, and they send them more. The algorithm sends them more content that has to do with eating disorders and stuff. But in other words, only
because they're watching it.
Correct.
And they're staying on it,
pumping it to them. But I guess the what the research showed was that they knew we're sending this to them not just because we all get shit based on, I guess, our patterns or whatever, right? But they know that this is a negative pattern and that this is causing harm, but that these girls are more likely to commit suicide and develop.
But it doesn't know that it's going to do it to everyone it sends it to.
No, but I guess they've done the research to go, fuck, this is doing this. But it's also causing a lot of clicks, so we're going to keep doing it. So it's not even so much like, hey, the algorithm's fucking this up. They knew, like, hey, man, we're causing all this thing for girls.
Yeah, dude, but I'm going... Okay, so then at what point does that stop? Like if one person gets hurt by it or hurts themselves because of it, then do you pull it down, or does it have to be enough? And then if so, what's that number?
No, and actually, so my wife reminded me, she's like, yo, use your own, she kind of used my own words against me. It's like, yo, it's not on them. And she's so right, dude.
Yeah, I don't think so, bro.
As a parent, if I know my daughter is getting triggered by this, it's up to me to then remove her from that situation.
Yeah.
To go, you can't be on the app. I'm going to remove it from your phone. I'm going to not allow you to install it. I don't want you clicking through that. I want you to scroll. And it's up to the individual, right, as adults to make choices to keep yourself away from that. And we all know people who purposely scroll through Facebook or whatever, just trolling for affirmation, not information, right? And so, I think, in this case, it goes it's not on Facebook. You could argue, do they have a social responsibility? But to your point, where does that end? Because what Johnny Walker, where's their social responsibility on? Should they make this bottle smaller? Because if I finish it, I'm more likely to get, into a car wreck if I decide to drive. It never ends. So I think at some point as a society, we have to take responsibility for ourselves and go hey, this is not healthy for me to scroll through. I'm going to remove myself from that situation. Dude, I catch myself doing that shit all the time. And I'm like, all right, Tom, check out. I'm not going through social media all the time. Where I'm like, this is an unhealthy amount of either scrolling, or you want the validation, or you want, you don't get enough interactions, or, whatever it is. I found myself in the past, feeling like, why do I fucking care? And then just going this isn't a healthy behavior, and just kind of removing myself from that shit. All right, I'm not opening that today. Or, I sign out of it completely. I don't want to see anything.
Because even for me, excuse me, on Instagram and Facebook, notifications for me are off because I don't want the constant ding, ding, ding every time something comes up. And then I go on it when I see fit. I'll scroll through a little bit. Maybe I'll look at the notifications, what have you. But the moment I see even a few things that is not making me feel good,
I'm out.
I just go, that's why I leave it off.
Dude, and now I'm convinced that it's not even based on my patterns anymore. Now I feel like they're trying to get a reaction out of me, to your point of that. Now I feel like I get content where I'm like, why would you even send me this shit? I'm out.
Facebook, for me, Facebook doesn't, because I only use it on the phone. And then typically I go on some notifications, and if there's something interesting in there, maybe somebody I know that posted something or what have you, so I'll click that, and even some of that stuff, I'm just like, this guy or this girl again.
Yeah.
And then enough of those, and I go okay, that's good. I'm
not feeling great
I'm
about
finished.
this.
Yeah, I'm finished. I'm okay with that. On Instagram, I'm actually very selective on who I sort of follow, just because I only want to see certain content.
Yeah, I just find it now it's I barely use the Facebook, and I also the sad part is that I think about the spirit of the app And the spirit of the apps is really cool, right? It's you're doing shit, you want to share it. It's almost it's a journal not only for you but for the people that, who'd have thought people cared about seeing what you were doing, right? But we've shown that people do care about what you're eating or where you're going.
Dude,
or where
everything,
stuff,
bro.
everything, man. So like you said, there's people who make a living doing dumb shit, or so we think it's dumb shit online. So I think about it, it's like, man, it would be fun to be able to engage at a certain level where I get enjoyment out of this app, but then how do I stop it from consuming me, where I'm thinking about the did I get enough likes? Like, man, we've talked about this before. Like, if we do even a post for this podcast, I was finding myself being obsessive of like, okay, why didn't this get, like, how do I get that? It didn't get enough, like, and then going down this rabbit hole, like almost psychoanalyzing, like the why didn't get the interactions or did get the interactions or whatever it was, like, and it's like, fuck, just enjoy the spirit of the app where you're sharing and you're curating these memories and these moments and this stuff, and then just let it be organic. Like, I think if us as humans, we're just not wired that way, right? We're just wired to want like the pat on the back, and so it's hard, I think, for even a teenage girl, a teenage boy, or whatever, to get into this world, man. I don't know. Do your kids have social media on their phones?
My two oldest have Instagram.
Okay.
And Instagram and TikTok.
What age did you let them do it?
I think whenever the age that Instagram said, which was like 13.
Okay.
I want to say it was
Yeah,
that.
my daughter just turned 12 and I just got her a phone.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so, yeah, she's asking like the questions. And it's like, nah. And I don't know what the answer is. She's like, well, when? It's like, I just don't know.
Instagram says 13, but of course they do, right?
Of course, yeah. They talked about making an Instagram only for
kids.
13-year-olds. Yeah, but
Yeah.
oh yeah, just kids.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? The two kids that have it, I don't feel like they look for validation too much. Like they're pretty happy with themselves.
Well,
as far as
they'll
what I can
always
see.
grow up in that
Yep.
environment, right? Like they'll always grow. And we talked about this last week. We're always going to see validation, whether it's online or not. We're always looking for the pat on the back, or always looking for we don't want to look messy, or we don't want to look thing, or we're,
Right.
like, it's like we don't want to show the real us. It's like, I wonder sometimes, like, I'm not ready to introduce me to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, let alone other people.
So with this chick, it was Frances Hagen. I think that's how you spell her name, Hagen.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, she also said on that interview that she felt that she sort of had empathy for Zucks, and I was thinking like, oh, because she said like, oh, well, it's not meant to be a bad app, kind of what you said. But did you, in the movie about Facebook, didn't he create that shit initially to rate girls?
Great girls. Yep.
Right?
Yeah, he wanted to date.
And I'm not saying that that's necessarily a good or bad thing. I'm just going, at some level, someone's gonna think that was disgusting from the beginning. So
Of course. But you go, what's funny, man, is like, yeah, some people think disgusting, don't participate. But then you go, you're going to have enough people there who are going to be like, oh, fuck, I want to see what you rate me, right? Like, they're going to participate in either direction, right? If it was rating guys, listen, there's a narcissist in all of us that wants to know. That does and doesn't, right? Like, so, yeah,
didn't they have that app back in the days, man, that used to do, it was for like schools. And that you could rate the teachers, but you could also rate like the hotness of the teacher.
Rate my professor?
That's it. I think
You
that's
could rate
it.
the hotness on there?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, shit, I got to go back in there.
I remember looking up our mutual teacher, Jack Chambliss.
Okay.
And just to see what other students were saying about him before I took his class.
Yeah.
And I remember that. And it was like somebody had like they used to have like a pepper, like a hot chili pepper. And that meant that he was hot.
Oh, fuck, bro. Oh, my God.
So see that, man, even at the sort
We
of
objectify everybody.
everything, dude.
I love it. Oh my God, man. Yeah, I don't do the she came out and I was kind of like, you could argue some moral. I think I get to the when it starts getting to the, because she was talking about the features they shut off during the elections to stop like the misinformation and stuff, because obviously they're targeting you. They know like if I give you Biden content, it's gonna piss you off, and so they purposely kept giving you Biden content because
Right.
they know that would make you scroll, or just false information, like almost on purpose because they knew it would rile you up. And they turned it off during the election, but she's like, but then it just turned it all back on. Like it wasn't like
Right.
a permanent move. And so like, yeah, it was a step in the right direction at that time, but they looked at it and went, yeah, but we also lost money, so let's go back to fucking letting
Right.
people click all the time and all that. Dude, he lost $7 billion. You seen that yesterday because Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp were down yesterday?
I did see that little.
billion.
How long was he? I mean, how long was
Most
it? It
of the
wasn't.
day.
Oh, it was most of the day.
Yeah, it was like a work day. It was like 8 to 10 hours or some shit like that. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. That was
And he
like
lost billions.
$7 billion, bro.
Dude, I don't feel bad for him.
Nah, I did, man. That's
And
a lot of money, bro.
don't turn around, bro.
No.
Red Sox have just won the game 6-2.
It's over?
It's over.
Okay, Yankees, man.
Yankees go down.
This is why I drink. Oh, man.
Dude, did you watch that or did you read that Will Smith?
I did,
interview?
man. I thought it was fascinating, man. It's so.
Well, I can't wait for his book. So Will Smith is going to write a book, but he did or he's actually either in the process or he's done with the book. The author or the one that got the author is Mark Manson,
Yeah.
and so which he does the subtle ways of not giving a fuck, or what is
The
that?
subtle art of not giving
That's
a fuck.
it. Subtle
Yeah.
art of not giving
Great,
a
which
fuck.
Is a good
It's
book.
a really good book
Yeah.
if you guys ever want to read it. But he's a phenomenal writer. One of those writers that he really keeps you interested as you go through it.
Mm-hmm.
So he wrote this book for Will Smith, and it's about Will Smith's life. But he did the interview with GQ, and in that interview, man, he was like describing his father. He talked about his dad. He described his father as like one of his greatest blessings, but also one of his sources of pain.
Yeah. Which I thought was an interesting way to put it.
Yeah, man. 'Cause he's like, his dad was like, used to push him for like, sort of push him for perfection, but then he would like physically beat his mom.
Yeah.
And that Will described it as like, he didn't know when that used to happen as a kid, he didn't know what to do. And then so growing up through that, like he always felt like a coward. So he said he was like, I had to make sure that people were laughing or smiling because they were less likely to lash out.
Yeah, because he felt like, you said he felt like he wanted to, I guess, avoid situations like that of angst and
Right.
of anger and of. Yeah, the whole article, man, I found it fascinating from the careers talk, right? Like of the, I wanted to be the biggest movie star in the world.
The Black Tom Cruise,
And I like how
right?
people are kind of like, usually people are just kind of like nonchalant about that. Like, yeah, if it happens kind of thing. It was like, no. I wanted, my goal was to be the Black Tom Cruise kind of thing. Like
Yep.
I wanted, and one of the things I never really registered about him was that, he deliberately says, I didn't pick roles that had me in slavery or in any kind of struggle on purpose for the first part of my career because I didn't want to, I guess, portray black people that way. I wanted to show us in positions of power. I wanted to show us as superheroes.
Right.
Which was a conscious, deliberate, I think, move. And history will tell us if it helped or hurt or whatever, if it was indifferent. But you go, man, I could see Will Smith was one of those people that I think you'll look back on and you'll go, yeah, man, a great actor, great artist, great, guy had bangers doing this, and that. And I don't know that I registered that he wasn't doing things that put him in a negative light, but maybe his superstardom is that you never really think of him in a negative way. So
Yep.
maybe subconsciously that does register differently. I don't know, but I thought it was interesting and he made that choice at that early of an age to not do it, and obviously worked out.
Yeah, he said that the first time that he considered doing one was Django.
Yes.
Which
He said
is funny,
the
man,
script.
because I cannot imagine Jamie Foxx not being in
No,
that.
absolutely not. And I think Tarantino, I forgot, I remember hearing something, I think it was Tarantino in an interview saying that the first person he I guess he wanted to, the first thing he had in mind was Will Smith. And he thought he would get him to do that one. And
Yep.
then I guess, whatever, Will turned him down. And it worked out because Jamie Foxx just
Yeah, he killed it.
kills that. But, dude, man, fuck, I just thought there were so many things in there that we can all relate to. He's talking about his marriage. He's talking about his bouts with, even as someone as a global superstar like Will Smith is talking about his bouts with kind of, I don't know that it's depression, but I guess it is. And then dealing with fame, it felt somehow relatable. I don't know if that makes sense. Like even looking at that, knowing like, yeah, I'm not Will Smith, but I can empathize to the feelings that he had of like, damn, dude, he's like, I'm Will Smith. And he does admit there, he goes like, my materialistic success isn't lost on me, but I just felt, kind of like empty, I guess, for lack of a better thing, man. And
there was one point, didn't he go to like he would go to for 2 weeks in Utah and just like with nobody, just
no
to be by
electronics,
himself.
no people, nothing. He said he would just sit in a house by himself. The thing we talk about, man, that I'm like, I still is on my list that we absolutely got to do is the ayahuasca
He
trip.
said he did that shit like a dozen times.
Yes, dude, within a short amount of time.
And he said that he was never really a drinker, never really smoked weed.
Nothing.
And to go through that, like that is, I mean, anybody that's ever taken drugs, like that's gotta be, at least by description, the pinnacle.
That's the pit of your. And it's funny, man, because when you talk to people who've done it, they're like, it's not pleasant.
Right.
But it's it's like dropping you into your soul and you got to stare at it kind of thing. And they're just like, but you get out of it kind of what you want to, right? Like, which is if you let it take you through that journey, I quote unquote, is like I guess you sort of find out things about yourself. But he said he, in his 50 years on Earth, never felt better than he did on ayahuasca, which I thought was an interesting.
That's
way to
crazy.
say it. He goes like, I've never felt nothing. My success, nothing made me feel more alive and better than what I did when I started doing ayahuasca. And he would take trips to like Peru to go do ayahuasca.
Yep.
And dude, it's funny, man. The reason I found out about the article was because Neil Brennan, comedian, writer,
yeah.
but he's also the thing he's going to be known for the most is Chappelle Show. He was the co-writer on Chappelle Show along with Dave Chappelle. And then Neil Brennan, in my opinion, has one of the most brilliant, I don't even want to call it a stand-up special, man. One of the most brilliant pieces of art I've ever seen, which is called Three Mics, and he does a stand-up special, but the three mics each represent something different. And we might have talked about this on here before.
I watched it.
But and then one of the mics, when he goes up to that mic, it's basically like a therapy session, right, where he's just like blabbing off about shit that happened. Then one of the mics is like just one-line jokes, and then the other mic is like traditional stand-up, kind of like he takes you through and he's telling you a joke. But in it, man, Neil Brennan is someone who fought these bouts of depression like hardcore, and he's been pretty public about it. And it's interesting because you hear him in interviews, and he's just like, I don't want to be sad, man. I take fucking everything. He's like, I've tried everything. And Neil Brennan's like, I've traveled the world with experimental treatments and everything to fight this. I just can't overcome it. And he's been really big lately on fucking ayahuasca has been life-changing for him. And I guess Will Smith was the one who put him onto it. So the reason I found out about the Will Smith article was because Neil Brennan shared it and said, hey, people have always asked me and I never wanted to say anything because, but now that Will's gone public with it, then Will was the one who put me onto this and he told me about it and it changed my life kind of thing. And he's like, read the article and he had the link to it. That's how I read the article, man. But I remember him because Neil has his own podcast and he's been on like the Breakfast Club and stuff. And he has been talking about, he does it all the time. And he's like, dude, to the point
where
where
they do it here, because I always hear like South America. They do it here.
They fly people here. They'll fly you here. There's a shaman, you could hire depending on the city, and they'll come to your house. And they're like, just have an empty room in your house, and you guys sit around, just be ready to go at it. And they give you these very specific instructions, and you got to do the research.
Like don't eat and shit like that.
Yeah, there's
right?
certain things you're not allowed to eat. I think it's like red meat. You're not allowed to drink alcohol for X amount of days leading up to it. You got certain parts of your body have to be, I guess, cleansed so that your body metabolizes it, the drug in a specific way. But yeah, he's always been so outspoken about it. But I remembered hearing about his bouts with the depression, and then to hear him kind of his demeanor when he's talking on his podcast and all that's so different. And he talks about the ayahuasca thing a lot. And I was like, wow, man, that's interesting. And so he led me into the Will Smith article, man. And I found he talks about the whole thing with him and Jada that we made fun of on here. Remember the whole
the red table?
The red table talk or the entanglement. And I thought it was cool that he brought it up. He's like, yo, I'm like red-eyed, I'm upset. He goes like, yo, this shit had been out, like we had gone through this like years.
Yeah, he was tired of it.
And he goes like that, and he goes through what happened that day. He goes like, I was tired, like. And so the red eyes is me being like sleepy and all the shit. And he kind of goes into like the whole like, but I always have to go on and be Will Smith. I fucking hate being Will Smith. Like, and it was just so nuts, man. And just I think the rawness that he spoke about, even the marriage, where you go look at someone like Will Smith married to Jada Pinkett Smith, and you're just like, oh, what is that guy complaining about? And he had the same kind of, I think, thoughts and feelings and insecurities and whatever that we all go through. And you're just like, fucking Will Smith, none of us got a shot. I was just like, because if that guy feels like that, then I'm fucked. You know what I mean? Like,
did you read that story about when he did it was like her birthday or something, and he had done this like this little screening of her life.
Oh, yes.
And it traced back
the ancestry,
and it traced back to when her ancestors were slaves, and then he found a descendant of the family that owned them as slaves,
and he brought them in.
And yeah, bro, and I was like, man, the family thing would have been good. Why did you think that the bringing in the slave owners was a good thing,
bro? You know how I know I'm fucked up? I read it. I went, why is she mad? this is what I'm telling you. I related to that shit more than I care to admit. I was like,
Yeah.
why? So,
Like, why would you want to? But yeah, why would you? Tell me why you would want to. If tables are turned, right, or it's someone doing it for you. Why do you want to meet a descendant of the ones that owned your family?
I think for me, when I think of that, I can separate the, like, these people didn't buy my.
Oh, no. I'm not saying I'm mad at them, the descendants. I'm just going, I'm like, it sucks that it happened. We're not there anymore, but I'm good, like, not knowing that family. I'm fine with that. I don't ever need to meet them.
I'll be honest, you know why I thought it was cool? It's the fucking arrogance of, like, look what I did. Like, how was I able to figure that shit out? Like, track that down. Like, this is why I thought it was.
So
know
you
what
think
I'm saying?
him, the ego in him.
Yeah, the fucking ego. Because, listen, I could justify listen, I know it's not a happy-go-lucky moment, but it is kind of, it's a connection that you kind of both have. And whether it's an emotional moment, negative or positive, it's still, I don't know, something you do or don't want to go through. Whatever. But the ego in me was flexing. Like, goddamn right, I fucking tracked down who bought your great. Like, it's the ego, bro.
And dude, that's what's funny is, like, it's not. It's like the great maybe.
Yeah,
Great,
it's not
great
that even far
grandfather.
down
It's
the
not
line.
that far, yeah.
It's the ego in me, bro, that I went, what do you get somebody who can have anything? And I went, I'm just going to fucking, like, think of that. And in my mind, bro, that shit was cool.
I'm gonna find that former slave owners.
Yep. Because what else could you possibly do? Go do the impossible. Or what's seemingly impossible for the average person. Like, and this is why I read it, and I went, I don't even know why she mad. He need to leave Jada. But he talks about how that's like a turning point in their marriage of, like, he had to, like, look at himself and go, like, the fucking arrogance and the whatever else. But, like, and I even found it, dude, when he talked about the harem, which was I can't remember the women that he brings up, but he's like,
think it's just
obviously
two.
Jada, Halle Berry. There was one more.
It wasn't even Jada. It was like Halle Berry, and
can't
there was a
think of the
name
other
that I really didn't recognize, but it was he did the movie. What is it? 7 Degrees of Separation or something like that. It's like one of his early flicks.
Okay.
But the girl that's in there with him, I don't know her name.
But he talks about that, but then he talks about kind of coming back down to earth, going like, yeah, this shit would be cool if you get the cool parts of them all the time, and then he clicked that, like, no, I'm also gonna get the downside.
You're also gonna get the downside to all of them. You know, have a freaking harem, and obviously the more complicated. But yeah, like you said, you start to read that, and right away, most men would go, "Oh my God, that would be amazing."
Sounds like a great idea. I get to live with Halle Berry and Jada Pinkett.
Yeah, no.
And then you do the math and you go, that shit sounds stressful.
Yeah.
like 2 of anybody. It doesn't even have to be them.
I don't even want 2 of my friends over here at the same time.
Exactly. But it was, man, I think just the conversation about, like, yeah, that whole thing I found interesting. And it did its job, man, because I want to read the book now. Like, I didn't know he was writing the memoir, even more so because it's Mark Manson. That's and I love his writing style because
Absolutely,
he has a very like conversational way of writing. Where
That's
you feel
exactly.
like you're talking to your boy.
That's a great description. It is very conversational, and that's why his books is like you can fly through them.
Mm-hmm. Well, quick reads, for sure. And it sucked me in, man. I thought it was just a great article, man. Great insight to someone. I like how he said he spent like the first 50 years of his life sort of like being a gatherer.
Yep.
And then now he wants to spend the next kind of half of his life being a giver, kind of giving away all the things that he's given up. And then also, I think, we talk about this on here all the time about like you see someone who you feel like has it all. And for them to go in there and go like, I fucking hated my life, man. I hate Will Smith. Like, I hate playing this, like portraying this character. What I'm curious to see is like if he mentions this in a memoir is the music. You know how he doesn't curse and he doesn't think like if that's by design because he wants to, or if that's by design because he wants to be the Will Smith that sells records,
trying to please somebody,
please people. Yeah, because that's a big controversial thing for him where people would knock him or he would.
Like he wasn't a real rapper.
Right.
That type of shit.
But then he would also remember his speech when he was accepting some award. I can't remember if it was a Grammy or an MTV award where he's like, I didn't have to curse and I didn't have to thing and I got this and yada yada yada, to the point where Eminem used it as a lyric in his song.
Oh no.
So I don't know if there's an Eminem lyric that goes like, well, Will Smith don't got to curse on his raps to sell records. Well, I do, so fuck him and fuck
Oh,
him too.
yes,
Like,
yes.
And it was on the heels of Will Smith doing like an acceptance speech. I think it was a VMA or thing saying like,
Okay.
I never had to curse, I never had to like do this, and I basically names all the shit that the rappers are doing at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm still able to do this and make bangers and blah blah whatever. Like but I wonder if like, because you were so outspoken, like was that by choice or was this Will Smith the character again? Like, because I thought it was cool where he was just like, bro, I've been fucking acting basically like this
Yeah, you
entire
sort of
time.
create this persona.
Which, did you see the Fresh Prince reunion?
I did not, but that's the one that he calls out the
chick, the original
mom,
Aunt
right?
Viv, yeah. The original Aunt Viv, man. I watched it, man, and I thought it was cool. I mean, obviously, I wasn't expecting him to not be apologetic towards her, but I guess he comes out. That was the first time.
Does he get her fired?
He does.
Oh, he does.
His kind of and it's cool, man, because she talks. I guess they haven't spoken, and
Okay.
so this is supposed to be the hey, this is 30 years later or whatever, and they're kind of hashing it out, and she basically. I guess her marriage is falling apart. There's all this other shit that she's going through personally, and I guess she wasn't like nice enough to Will Smith kind of thing. And then he's like, of course, the young superstar, da 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 da. And I guess basically was kind of like, oh, it's her deal, like, and then became one of those like, yeah, I'll get rid of her, like I don't want her here. And he's Will Smith, so he's the fucking lead character of the show. He's the Fresh Prince, and so he got her fired at a time where she's like, yo, my life was at its lowest point, and I was going through shit, and no one said like, yo, you okay? It was like, yo, Will doesn't like your fucking attitude right now, kind of thing. And, and he was a dick.
Man.
And he's like, yo, I wasn't.
And that was really
empathetic
his
to
first
you.
acting gig.
Yeah, dude, have you ever heard the story about how he got that, man?
Didn't he go to like Quincy Jones' party or something like that?
On some crazy like whim, borrows money from a drug dealer to go there.
Oh, okay.
It's so nuts. The whole story is wild, man. And he sits there that night and whatever. When he goes through the thing, it's like one of those improbable stories where they're just like, you gotta do this and you're gonna tell him it's this and story and you're gonna act it out. And they basically made him like do like, he goes like, I've never acted. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And they go like, this is your fucking chance. This is your one. Like, you do it now or it's never coming again.
Right.
And he basically had to act out like a scene in front of like Quincy Jones or whatever in his house in like the middle of a party. It's so fucking nuts, dude. The improbableness of the whole thing. But yeah, man, I think it's I could see how he's gotten to this space because the older I get, I look back at scenarios and I go like, yeah, fuck, I didn't handle that the way I should have or whatever. But to see him kind of look back on it now and go like, yep, I was a dick here, I was a dick here, but I knew I was being a dick at the time, or I really didn't like this guy.
He did say that he was like, sort of reflecting on the people that he had to step on because of what he wanted.
Yeah, and he was deliberately stepping on them because he goes like, no, I wanted to be a bigger star enough, and this is what it was going to take. And great article, man. I thought it was really good. I thought it was interesting. I'm going to read the fucking book, so it did its job because I know part of it was to promote the book. So I'm like, damn it, I'm reading Will Smith's memoir when it comes out next month.
Dude, I was going through all of the pictures in GQ. There ain't nothing in there I can afford.
Yeah, 'cause GQ gives you the piece and then how much it costs, right?
Yep.
Yeah, those motherfuckers. They give you MSRP. So they don't give you them Ross prices.
I gotta wait for it to come to Ross.
It's a TJ Maxx line here, bro. But yeah, man, you know what? The one I remember exactly what you're talking about. There was one in there that fucking flabbergasted me. It was Ralph Lauren. I didn't even know people wore Ralph Lauren like that anymore. But it was like $2,700, I think, pants or something. I was like, fuck you, bro. Who was Ralph Lauren to charge me $2,700 for a pair of pants? I was like,
Yeah, no thanks.
hard pass, bro. I'm good. I was like, Ralph Lauren, I just couldn't get past that shit, man. Yeah, wild, man. Dude, before we leave, you want to get into this fucking guy who, the search party, man?
Oh, yeah, let's do that. Tell the story.
All right, man. So there's this, I'm going to get the country wrong. Is it Germany?
No, Turkey.
Turkey. There's a search party in Turkey going on for a missing man. There was like hundreds of people gather and they're like literally looking for this guy. His family had reported him missing. He was drinking at a pub and never came home. And this entire search party is looking for him. Turns out there was a guy in the search party searching for the guy who was the guy. So he was looking for himself.
Dude said he came out after the long night of drinking, came out, just seen all these people searching for somebody and figured this is like an important cause.
Yeah, let me help.
Let me help. And then they start calling his name. And it's like, let's say, and I'm going to butcher the name, so we're going to call this guy Alex. And they're like,
That's Turkish.
he's like, Alex, you know, and then the dude turns to the person next to him is like, and Alex who? And they give him like the full name. He's like, oh, that's me. So obviously the search party was called off. I got another one for you real quick, man. This guy here in Florida, and this is why Charlotte may be making fun of people in Florida, man. This dude stole a car and then went back in a few days later to the dealership he sold it from to trade it in.
Get the fuck out of here.
I guess he didn't think he was gonna run the VIN number. So they run the VIN, obviously, and they realized quickly that it's the one that was stolen.
Car?
It was their car, so he stole it. They got him on camera and everything, stealing the car.
Yeah, you think it hurts to be that dumb, like physically?
I just wonder,
Your
like,
head
what
hurt
are you?
all the time?
Like, why would you go? If you're going, just go somewhere else, anywhere else.
I'm just trying to figure out the whole concept of VIN numbers lost on people. Is that not common knowledge?
I guess if you smoke enough meth, you forget about
Is
that
he
shit.
Memphis? Well,
I
yeah,
don't-
what part of Florida? We talking Polk County? What are we talking about here?
Lake City. Where's
Oh,
that?
Definitely meth head, bro. You spot on, bro.
Where is Lake City?
Fuck, we gonna find out right
We
now.
gonna
Man.
find
We
out.
should know this because we're in Florida and all, but
There's a lot of places in Florida that I would not go.
no, bro. There's not actually anything named anything city in Florida is guaranteed to not be a city. So I don't go to those, bro. Columbia County. I don't even know there was a Columbia County in Florida, bro. So it's in Columbia County, Florida. And let me see. I'm gonna tell you what the closest meaningful thing is. Oh goddamn, bro. This shit is not. It's like near Georgia, bro. Going up there. Yep. It's just west, or not just west. It's west of Jacksonville in the middle of the state. It's between Jacksonville and Tallahassee.
Oh yeah,
That shit make all the sense, bro.
Yeah, I see it.
You see it?
Yeah.
Columbia. I didn't even know it was a Columbia County. And there's a lot of. You know how the map always has the green where the it's a national park.
Yep.
This
There's a big one
whole
there.
Fucking thing is a national
Alligator
park, bro.
Lake Park.
So he's definitely a meth head, bro. So that shit makes sense,
There's not that many roads.
bro. There's one. Wait, let me see.
No, they got a few.
It's one in and one out. Shit look like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's got like oh man, Florida. Florida's going Florida, bro. We do some washing.
All right, man. On the heels of the loss of the Yankees, tell them where they can find us.
All right, man. You guys, if you're not following us yet, follow us on Instagram, Facebook at the Carbon Footprint Podcast, TikTok, Carbon Footprint Podcast. If you are not subscribed to us yet, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts, on Stitcher, on Spotify, on TuneIn, Amazon Music. I did see that Facebook now allows you to embed podcasts on the actual page, so you can listen through Facebook. So we will get that sorted here in the next week, so that if you want to listen to Facebook, you can get it on there too. So if you're not following us on any of those, do so.
I did not hear about that. But in my closing today, I'm gonna close with I wrote the eulogy for my father this past weekend. And I actually want to read like my last paragraph, man, because I think that this hit some people. Some people came up to me afterwards and was like, man, like I needed to hear that. So hopefully, if somebody else out there needs to hear this, listen up. I had a final thought that I wanted to share with all of you. The lessons of the dead remind us to respect and cherish time. Death reminds us that our time here is finite. We can look at the time that he lived and know what's also possible for us. 92 years is a long time, but it goes by fast. What are we going to do with the time we have left? May this day motivate each and every one of us to go do that thing we've been putting off. If you don't, you'll never know the magic you can create or the impact you can have. And I'm going to throw in or the carbon footprint you can have.
That's right.
Let us all commit today to make the rest of our lives the best of our lives. No regrets, people. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Peace.
Peace.